Our kids are always watching. What do you think they're learning? Our parents never had to deal with this stuff. This digital age of parenting can feel overwhelming. Kids need to know that there's a whole world beyond the screen. But there are a few things I've come to believe deeply about all this technology and how it fits into our lives. First, it starts with us.
Meet Raffy Zamora, founder of the Legendaddy community, a global hub empowering dads to lead, mentor, and inspire. Known for his authentic voice in parenting, Raffy blends humor and heart to redefine fatherhood. He's inspiring dads to create unforgettable memories and lead by example.
Sometimes my first instinct is to lecture or fix the problem, but I have to remind myself to listen first and guide second. Again, a work in progress. You know, raising kids in the digital age feels like we're pioneers navigating the brave new world. Our parents never had to deal with this stuff. Smartphones, tablets, apps, and endless screens just pulling at us all the time. But here we are, trying to figure it out. Let me tell you what I've learned so far. Again, I'm no expert. I'm just a dad trying my best to do right by my kids. But there are a few things I've come to believe deeply about all this technology and how it fits into our lives. First, it starts with us. Like I keep saying, our kids are always watching. Always watching. If we're glued to our phones at the dinner table or zoning out in front of a screen instead of engaging with them, what do you think they're learning? That's why I've made a rule for myself. When I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. In the home, we have a rule. At dinner, no gadgets at the table. And I can't be reached after business hours because that's the time I expend exclusively with my family. The phone goes on silent, it stays in another room, and I generally pick it up again only after the kids have gone to bed for some late night doom scrolling. It's tough, believe me. I know. But I remind myself they'll only be little once. And I want them to remember my face, not the back of my phone. Now, let's talk about boundaries. And yes, that means screen time. Experts say that kids should not have more than a couple of hours a day, depending on their age. And I try to stick to that. We have rules. No iPads on school days, no screens during dinner, and no devices in the bedrooms. And absolutely no screens after 6 p.m. At first, there was pushback. You know how kids can be. I'm almost done with this level. 15 more minutes. And yes, some negotiating can happen, but eventually you hold the line because it's worth doing. There's no hard and fast rule here. You find out what works for you and your family. One thing I've found really powerful is watching with them. When my kids are watching something, I try to sit down with them. And not all the time, of course. I mean, I've memorized all the episodes of Bluey at this point. But when I can, I sit down and ask questions. Why is she sad? Why is he so angry? It's amazing just how much you can learn about how your kids think and feel just by engaging with the content that they're consuming. And guys, screens cannot be the default activity. Kids need alternatives, and it's up to us to provide them. We've got a box of art supplies in the corner, and it's amazing what a kid with an active imagination, some markers, and paper can do. I take them outside. Bike rides with the neighbor kids, trips to the park, ballet, and theater. It's all about showing them there's a whole world beyond the screen. Like the kids say these days, go out and touch grass. This brings me to something crucial: teaching digital citizenship. It's not enough to say, don't look at bad stuff online. We have to equip them with the tools to navigate this digital world responsibly. I tell my girls, the internet is like a giant library and playground rolled into one. There's a lot of good stuff, but there's also a lot of stuff that can definitely hurt you. If you see something that makes you feel uncomfortable, come to me. No judgment, no punishment. And then there's the matter of curating their digital experience. These days, there are so many tools to help with that. Parental controls, kid-friendly apps, educational games. I don't just let them loose on YouTube, mostly. I set up playlists of shows and channels my wife and I have both vetted. I download apps that teach math, reading, and even mindfulness. But I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that they'd trade all of that for another 15 minutes of Roblox. It's a work in progress. I'll admit though, there's a balance here. We can't protect them from everything, nor should we. Kids need to learn how to handle the world, digital and otherwise. But that doesn't mean throwing them into the deep end. Think of it like teaching them how to swim. You don't just toss them in the pool and hope for the best. You stay close, show them how to paddle, and gradually you find the rhythm and off they go. Another thing I've learned, make space for connection. One of the best decisions we made was creating tech-free times in our home. The dinner table on weekdays is one, and our Saturday family activities are another. These are the times when we talk, laugh, and just be together. No screens, no distractions. It's sacred, and it's made a huge difference. But above all, I've learned the power of communication. Kids need to know that they can come to you with anything. Questions about something they saw online, or a bad word that they heard from a classmate, or problem with a friend, whatever it is. And they need to know that you listen and not overreact. It's never easy. Sometimes my first instinct is to lecture or fix the problem, but I have to remind myself to listen first and guide second. Again, a work in progress. So yeah, this digital age of parenting can feel overwhelming. But when I start to worry about the dangers out there, the cyberbullying, the addictive algorithms, the endless rabbit holes, I remind myself of this. It's not about fighting technology. It's about teaching our kids to use it wisely and to see it as a tool, not a crutch. And that starts with us, the parents, showing them the way. Look, we're not gonna get it right all the time. In fact, prepare yourself for a lot of failure, and that's okay. But if we lead with love and set clear boundaries and keep the lines of communication open, I think we'll be okay. And more importantly, so will they. We're all in this together, legend. You've got this. This has been Raffy Zamora for PGMN. I'll see you all next week.